This video presents the key features and functions of the OpreX LIMS Laboratory Information Management Support Package through a demonstration of its use in actual testing and quality management operations. The explanation will consist of the following parts. OpreX LIMS is a LIMS package that contributes to greater efficiency and data accuracy in analysis, testing, and quality management operations. It has the following features. The client software is installed by downloading to a computer from the site hosted on the OpreX LIMS server. The basic operations, how to use. When you start OpreX LIMS, the logon screen is displayed. The user ID given to each user has been set permissions respectively, such as input and approval, and the scope of each authority are established for each user ID. This is OpreX LIMS main operation screen. On the left side of the screen, there is a list of data categories displayed. On the right side of the screen, there is a space where data is displayed. This is how the system looks when data is displayed. For each sample, OpreX LIMS shows the test items for each sample and test group containing multiple test items. Each user can freely change the display settings of their screen, such as font size, displayed items, and search conditions for sample to display. Changes to the screen display settings can be registered as favorites. Favorites can be stored as icons shown at the top of the screen as workflows, allowing users to call them up with a single click after logging in. This flexibility in configuring the screen as desired on an individual user basis is one of the features of OpreX LIMS. The sample list screen shows information regarding individual samples. The status field shows the progress status of each sample. This completes the explanation of the main operation screen. Testing functions. Now, let's look at the OpreX LIMS testing functions. We will explain the screen operation by articulating the actual test work. The first step is to issue a request. Issuing a request consists of registering test information for the actual requested test samples in the OpreX LIMS server. Once a request is issued, a unique request number is assigned to each corresponding sample, and the registered test information is managed. The exact procedure for issuing a request varies depending on whether or not OpreX LIMS is linked to an upper-level system. If OpreX LIMS is linked to an upper-level system, such as an ERP or MES system, they submit test requests to OpreX LIMS, and the registration is performed automatically. There is therefore no need to manually issue a request. In case there is no link with upper-level systems, requests must be issued manually. Let's look at how that's done. Open the sample details screen. Select and enter necessary information, such as the sample name, test items, and lot numbers. Then click the Request button to issue the request. When the sample list screen is refreshed, the requested items will appear, and their status will be waiting for acceptance. Next, let's have a look at the reception process. Once reception is performed, it will be possible to begin testing for samples that have been waiting for reception. Reception is performed when actual testing is to be started, such as when samples are received by the departments or personnel that will perform testing. The request recipient logs on. The request recipient uses the registered favorites to call up his or her preferred screen arrangement. The request recipient then uses the sample list to select the sample and select Accept on either the Accept tab or the right-click context menu. This completes the reception process. The sample's status will switch to Waiting for Testing, and the tester will be able to perform testing. OpreX LIMS also supports testing using barcodes. Select the sample and click Print Sample Label on the Common tab. A sample label with a barcode will be printed out. The sample labels attached to the corresponding sample are used throughout testing. When the person responsible for the next test process scans the labels at the start of testing, the information on the sample is displayed on the screen. That helps eliminate the possibilities to mix up samples. The next step is the test operation. We'll explain the basic test operation of OpreX LIMS by using an actual sample test as an example. In this screen, the test items for the sample will be shown here. Each test staff logs on to the OpreX LIMS before performing test. In this example, we'll look at the functions used when performing these tests. First is GCMS test. Test staff 1 logs on. Samples awaiting GCMS test, for which this tester is responsible, are shown on the screen. The tester scans the barcode of the sample to be tested, and the sample's test items are shown on the screen like this. At the bottom of the screen is a table used to manage test results. This is where test results are entered. Test Staff 1 uses an analyzer to perform testing. OpreX LIMS has an extensive track record of connections with a wide variety of analyzers. The test results are imported from the analyzer connected to the OpreX LIMS via the network. Here on the screen, the test results imported into the OpreX LIMS database via the network are now displayed as raw data. OpreX LIMS also automatically performs standard conformance judgment. If the test results fall within the configured standard parameters, the sample is judged as passed. If the results fall outside the standard parameters, failed will be shown in red. The test staff then checks the data and, if there are no problems, confirms the results. When the tester selects a test item and clicks Confirm, the status will be changed to Waiting for approval. The overall status of the sample is shown in the Progress field. Next, let's have a look at a colorimetric test. In the previous test, we looked at the test in which the analyzer was connected. If no analyzer is connected, test data can be entered manually. As with the first test, the tester logs on and scans the sample's barcode label. The sample data is shown on screen. In this test, color chart numbers 0 through 10 are judged as passed and 11 and above as failed. The results from this test are manually entered in the test item raw data field. OpreX LIMS can automatically generate report values. In this test, if the raw data is between 0 and 10, the system is configured to display 10- in the report data field, indicating that it is within standard parameters. In this way, report values can be automatically edited. Next, let's move on to an appearance inspection. The test staff that will perform the appearance inspection does not use an analyzer, but registers his or her observations in OpreX LIMS. The test staff can also attach sample photos or other data. Visual observation results for the sample are entered here. If items have been registered in advance, they can be selected from a pull-down menu as shown here. Image data from sample appearance inspections can be attached like this. We explained just now, through these 3 example tests, how OpreX LIMS basic testing functions worked. When the results of the remaining 4 tests are confirmed and all test data is awaiting approval, it will be possible to begin the approval process. Let's look at how the approval process works. The approver selects the sample from the list of samples in waiting for approval status, and then the corresponding data is displayed. The approver checks the test data linked to each sample. Data which does not conform to standards is displayed in red. From the test item list, the approver can select a test item and display a trend graph or X-bar chart from the Graph tab. For any test items with attached data, the Input tab can be used to display data files and view their contents. Once all contents have been checked, approval is performed by selecting the designated sample and selecting Approve on either the Approval tab or the right-click context menu. Once a sample's data has been approved, its status will change to Finished Test. Test results reports can easily be created for all samples for which testing has been completed using the Common tab. Creating reports. This is an overview of the OpreX LIMS report creation process. First, the Master Data Administrator creates a report format in Excel and registers it to OpreX LIMS Master Database for use in report creation. Let's look at the report creation functions while creating an actual report format. Report format creation is performed by the Master Administrator. The OpreX LIMS database information is displayed in list form, so the Master Administrator selects the items to be included in the report, such as item codes and lot names, and pastes them to the designated cells. Items for which there are multiple data in individual samples such as test item names, are registered this way. Item names can be changed as ought to be appeared in the report. Next, let's work on formatting the report. This is done by using Excel functions, which gives users more flexibilities in changing font sizes, drawing lines, and modifying the appearance. Furthermore, search conditions can be set for the report format. Setting search conditions makes it possible to call up the test results for the request number entered in the cell. With this function, you can create forms for multiple lots, such as monthly reports. We have finished the report format creation process. For making the output of the report from the OpreX LIMS main screen, the report format must first be registered in the master database. From the Master Database tab, you can select where report has been saved and the user can have a look at it. Once Master Database registration is complete, you can select a report format from a sample for which testing has been completed and is ready for the output. Customer-Specific Result Report (MTS) function. The MTS function is used when a user performs shipment decisions for individual customers. The system determines if the results of sample tests meet customer requirements and if shipment is therefore possible. The MTS function uses the Shipment tab. From the sample list on the Shipment tab, the designated sample is selected and the system determines acceptance for the shipment. On the screen for selecting shipment recipient, clicking on the Search Customer button will display a list of all customers registered as recipients corresponding to the sample. Select the desired customer and click Confirm Test Item. From here, you can confirm the test items required by the selected customer. Different standards can be set for each customer. Test results that do not meet customer standards are displayed in red. Now that's the end of the demonstration. We hope you enjoyed the video and it will deepen your understanding on OpreX LIMS. We wish OpreX LIMS serve your business soon. Thank you for your time and attention.